I found 6 hidden cameras in my daughter's house. One was pointed directly at the toilet. When I confronted my son-in-law, he smiled and said it was for Jennifer's safety. But his laptop told a different story. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Margaret Chen. I'm 62 years old, and up until 5 years ago, I was a high school principal in Seattle. My husband David passed away from a heart attack when he was only 59. We had one daughter together, Jennifer, who was everything to us. After David died, Jennifer and I grew even closer. She was my world. 3 years ago, Jennifer met Ryan Mitchell at a tech conference. He was 38, charming, and worked as an IT security consultant. I liked him at first. He was attentive to Jennifer, always calling her sweetheart and bringing her flowers. He called me Mom from the very beginning, which touched my heart. I thought he was the son I never had. They got married 18 months later in a beautiful ceremony in the San Juan Islands. I cried during the vows, thinking David would have been so proud to walk Jennifer down the aisle. Ryan promised to take care of her, to protect her, to love her unconditionally. Last November, Jennifer called me with exciting news. She was 12 weeks pregnant with her first child, my first grandchild. I screamed with joy. She asked if I could come stay for a week during Thanksgiving to help them prepare the nursery.
Welcome back.
Of course,
Today,
I said yes.
I want to tell you about the
I
time
arrived at their
traveled
home
to
in
Thailand
Bellevue
and
on a Monday
experienced something
afternoon.
truly magical.
They had a
I
beautiful
remember
4-bedroom
standing on the
house with a
beach
large backyard. Ryan greeted me at the door with a huge hug. "Mom, so good to see you. Let me get your bags." Jennifer looked radiant despite the morning sickness. We spent that first evening looking at paint samples for the nursery and discussing baby names. Ryan made dinner, a lovely salmon with roasted vegetables. Everything seemed perfect. That night, I stayed in their guest bedroom. It was nicely decorated with a queen bed, a small desk, and an ensuite bathroom. As I was getting ready for bed, I noticed something odd. There was a smoke detector on the ceiling, but the house was less than 3 years old and already had hardwired smoke detectors in every room. Why would they need a second one? I dismissed it. Ryan worked in security. Maybe he was just extra cautious. The next morning, I woke up early and went to the kitchen to make coffee. The house was filled with smart devices. A video doorbell, smart lights, Alexa speakers in every room, a smart thermostat, even a smart refrigerator. Again, I thought it was just Ryan's profession influencing their home. Jennifer and I spent Tuesday shopping for baby furniture. Ryan was at work, or so he said. He called Jennifer 3 times in 4 hours, always asking where we were, what we were doing, when we'd be home. Jennifer laughed it off. "He's just excited about the baby. He worries when I'm out too long." But something about it made me uneasy. I'd been a principal for 26 years. I knew what controlling behavior looked like. Wednesday morning, I was alone in the house. Jennifer had a doctor's appointment, and Ryan was supposedly meeting a client downtown. I decided to clean the guest bathroom as a small thank you for their hospitality. I was scrubbing behind the toilet when I accidentally knocked over a decorative candle on the shelf above. As I reached to catch it, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. There was a tiny lens, smaller than a pencil eraser, embedded in what I thought was just an air freshener. I'd seen enough news reports to recognize a hidden camera when I saw one. My hands shook as I examined it more closely. It was professionally installed, connected to their Wi-Fi network with a small indicator light that I'd mistaken for the air freshener's LED. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, my mind racing. Why would there be a camera in the guest bathroom? Was it watching me? I thought about calling Jennifer immediately, but then I remembered something from my years as principal. When we suspected abuse, we gathered evidence first. Accusations without proof only made things worse. I'd retired from education, but I hadn't stopped learning. My daughter often teased me about being too tech-savvy for a boomer. I pulled out my iPhone and downloaded an app I'd read about in a cybersecurity article, one that could detect hidden cameras by scanning Wi-Fi networks for unusual devices. I locked the bathroom door and ran the scan. My stomach dropped. The app detected 8 devices it classified as surveillance cameras. 8. I spent the next hour methodically searching the house while fighting to keep my breathing steady. I found them everywhere. One behind the air freshener in my bathroom. One hidden in the smoke detector in my bedroom. One in the kitchen, positioned to capture the counter and table. One in the laundry room. One on the back patio, one in the hallway, and two more in places that made me feel sick: Jennifer's walk-in closet and her bathroom. He was watching his own pregnant wife. I needed to be smart about this. I couldn't just confront Ryan. Men who installed cameras to watch people weren't the type to confess when caught. I needed irrefutable proof and a plan. I remembered my old friend Sarah Brooks. We'd gone to college together, and she'd spent 30 years with the Seattle Police Department before becoming a detective. I stepped outside into the backyard, away from the cameras, and called her. "Sarah, I need help, and I need you to not ask me why until I explain everything." She heard something in my voice. "Margaret, what's wrong?" I told her everything: the cameras, the locations, my concerns about Ryan. She was quiet for a long moment. "I can't get a warrant without probable cause, and discovering cameras in a private home where you're a guest isn't enough. He could claim they're for home security. But Margaret, if you can prove he's doing something illegal with those feeds..." "What do you
always
mean?"
remember that day,
"If he's recording in
sitting on the
areas where
porch,
there's an
watching the
expectation of
rain,
privacy,
and thinking
like
about
bathrooms,
everything that had
that's
changed."
voyeurism under Washington state law. If he's sharing or selling those recordings, that's distribution. Both are felonies. But I need evidence of the criminal activity, not just the cameras existing. I understood what she was asking. I needed to access his laptop or wherever he stored the footage. That evening, Ryan came home with Thai takeout, Jennifer's favorite. He was in an excellent mood, joking and laughing. He kept calling me Mom and asking if I was comfortable, if I needed anything. I smiled and played along, but inside I was calculating. I'd noticed he took his laptop everywhere, even to the bathroom. He never let it out of his sight. How could I access it? The opportunity came Thursday morning. Ryan announced he had to go to a client meeting in Tacoma and would be gone for at least 4 hours. Jennifer wanted to go with him and then visit her friend nearby, and they both encouraged me to stay home and rest. "You've been working so hard on the nursery, Mom. Put your feet up, watch some TV." The moment their car pulled out of the driveway, I moved. Ryan had left his laptop on the dining room table, but it was password protected. I had 30 seconds before it locked, maybe less. I opened the laptop. It required a fingerprint or password. Dead end. But then I noticed something. There was a desktop computer in his home office, one he rarely used. It was already logged in. I sat down and my principal's training kicked in. In all my years dealing with inappropriate staff behavior, I'd learned that people who hide things often organize them. They're not chaotic, they're methodical. I opened his file explorer and searched for anything related to camera or surveillance. What I found made me want to vomit. There was a folder labeled Home Security Archive, with subfolders organized by room and date, hundreds of videos, thousands of hours of footage. But that wasn't the worst part. There was another folder labeled Guests, with subfolders for names. Jennifer's college friends, her sister, her aunt, me. My subfolder had 43 video files from just 3 days. I clicked on one randomly. It was me, in the bathroom, getting ready for bed. The timestamp showed it was from my first night there. I felt violated in a way I couldn't describe, but I kept looking because I needed to understand the full scope. Then I found the folder that confirmed my worst fears: Sales Archive. Ryan wasn't just watching, he was selling. There were transaction logs, cryptocurrency payments, usernames of buyers. He'd been selling footage of Jennifer, of me, of every woman who'd stayed in this house for the past 2 years. I heard a car door slam outside. They were back early. I frantically pulled out my phone and started taking pictures of the screen: file names, transaction logs, folder structures, anything that could serve as evidence. "Mom, we're back! We forgot Jennifer's insurance card." I closed everything, cleared the browser history out of habit, and rushed out of the office just as they came through the front door. "Oh, there you are. I was just looking at the books on Ryan's shelf. Hope that's okay?" Ryan's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, Mom. Make yourself at home." But I saw him glance at his office. At the computer I'd been careful to leave exactly as I found it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in that guest bed, knowing there was a camera watching me, knowing that my own son-in-law was a predator. But worse, I knew Jennifer was in danger. If I told her now, without concrete police involvement, Ryan might destroy evidence, might hurt her, might disappear. I texted Sarah every photo I'd taken. She responded immediately. "This is enough. I'm getting a warrant first thing tomorrow morning. Don't confront him. Don't tell Jennifer yet. If he knows you know, this could get dangerous. Can you stay one more day?" I could. I had to. Friday morning, Ryan was working from home. He set up his laptop at the dining table, right in my line of sight. I pretended to read a book, but I watched him. He was on forums, chat rooms, places I didn't recognize. At one point, he stepped away to take a phone call in the backyard. I shouldn't have looked. I knew I shouldn't. But I glanced at his screen. He had a folder open labeled Margaret Premium Content. Below it was a price list. Videos of me were selling for $75 each. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When I came out, Ryan was standing in the hallway. "Are you okay, Mom? You look pale."
Welcome back
I forced
to the show.
a smile.
Today, I want to
Just
share
a bit of
story
motion
that changed
sickness from the
everything
car
for me.
ride yesterday.
It started as
I'll
many
be
good
fine.
stories do with
He
a
studied
single
my face for a
unexpected
moment
event.
too long. "You know, you've been spending a lot of time in the office. Interested in computers?" My heart stopped. "Oh, just looking at your books. You have quite a collection on cybersecurity." "I do. I also have quite a security system in this house. Keeps track of everything. Every room, every person, every movement." He smiled. "You'd be surprised what it picks up." He knew. He knew I'd found something. I needed to keep him talking, keep him calm until Sarah arrived with the warrant. "That's impressive. Jennifer's lucky to have someone so protective." "I am protective. Of what's mine, of my family, of my secrets." His voice dropped. "Some things aren't meant to be shared, Mom. Like what people do on computers that aren't theirs." Before I could respond, Jennifer walked in from the garage, arms full of groceries. "Help me with these?" The baby's making everything feel twice as heavy. Ryan's demeanor shifted instantly. He was all smiles again, rushing to help her. But as he passed me, he whispered, "We're not done talking." I spent the next hour in agony, checking my phone every 30 seconds, Sarah had said morning. It was almost noon. Finally, at 12:43 p.m., there was a knock on the door. Ryan opened it to find Detective Sarah Brooks and 4 other officers, warrant in hand. "Ryan Mitchell? We have a warrant to search this premises and seize all electronic devices related to suspected voyeurism and distribution of illegal recordings." Jennifer looked confused. "What? Ryan, what's going on?" I watched my son-in-law's face cycle through emotions: shock, anger, calculation, then finally resignation. He knew it was over. "This is ridiculous. Those are home security cameras." "Completely legal." Sarah stepped forward. "Recording individuals in bathrooms and bedrooms without consent is voyeurism under RCW 9A 44.115. Distributing those recordings is a separate felony. We have evidence of both." Ryan's eyes snapped to me. You went through my computer." Jennifer turned to me, tears streaming. "Mom, what did you do?" This was the moment I'd been dreading. "Honey, 3 days ago I found a hidden camera in my bathroom. Then I found 7 more throughout the house. Ryan has been recording all of us, all of your friends, everyone who visits, and he's been selling the videos online." "That's a lie," Ryan shouted. "She's always been jealous of us, Jennifer. She can't stand that you have a happy marriage when hers ended." But Jennifer wasn't looking at him. She was looking at the officers carrying out his computer, his laptop, external hard drives, and a box of equipment I hadn't even found. Sarah approached Jennifer gently. "Mrs. Mitchell, I need you to know that we found over 2,000 videos on your husband's devices. Many of them feature you in your bedroom and bathroom. He's been selling them for 2 years. Jennifer collapsed into a chair, her hand protectively over her stomach. "The baby." I knelt beside her. "Your baby is safe. You're safe now. I promise." The search took 4 hours. They found equipment hidden in air vents, fake electrical outlets, even inside picture frames. The house was rigged like a surveillance studio. They also found a locked safe in Ryan's office. Inside were USB drives labeled with women's names and dates going back 7 years, predating his relationship with Jennifer. Ryan was arrested and charged with 15 counts of voyeurism, 23 counts of distributing voyeuristic material, and multiple counts of stalking and harassment. The investigation uncovered 23 other victims, women who had stayed in previous homes he'd lived in, former girlfriends, even his own sister who'd visited from Portland. Jennifer filed for divorce while she was still in her second trimester. She moved in with me, and we spent the next 4 months preparing for the baby in my house, in rooms we knew were safe. Ryan took a plea deal to avoid trial. 15 years in prison, registration as a sex offender,
Today,
and restitution to all 24 victims. My granddaughter, Emma, was born on a sunny April morning. Jennifer let me be in the delivery room. When they placed that tiny baby in my arms, I cried. Jennifer looked at me from her hospital bed. Thank you, Mom, for being suspicious, for being smart, for protecting us. I thought about how close we'd come to disaster. If I hadn't knocked over that candle, if I hadn't been curious about the smoke detector, if I hadn't trusted my instincts. You taught me that when I was principal, I said. When something feels wrong, investigate. Don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Now Jennifer and Emma live with me. We turned David's old office into a nursery, and I wake up every morning to the sound of my granddaughter babbling. Jennifer is healing, slowly. She's in therapy, working through the betrayal and violation. As for me, I've become something of an advocate. I give talks at community centers about digital privacy, about hidden cameras, about trusting your instincts even when everyone tells you you're paranoid. People often ask me if I regret not telling Jennifer sooner, if I should have confronted Ryan immediately instead of gathering evidence. I tell them the truth. If I'd acted on emotion instead of strategy, Ryan might have destroyed the evidence. The other 23 women might never have gotten justice. Jennifer might have been manipulated into staying with him. Being 62 doesn't mean I'm out of touch with technology. It doesn't mean I can't protect my family. If anything, my age gave me patience, wisdom, and the confidence to trust what I knew was right. I kept us safe because I paid attention. Because when that smoke detector looked wrong, I didn't dismiss my concerns. Because when Ryan's behavior felt controlling, I didn't call it love. And most importantly, because I remembered what I taught students for 26 years. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Ryan showed me he was a predator who hid behind charm and the word safety. He thought a 62-year-old woman wouldn't understand technology, wouldn't be brave enough to investigate, wouldn't fight back. He was wrong. Today, Emma is 8 months old. She's starting to crawl, pulling herself up on furniture, exploring her world with fearless curiosity. Jennifer and I watch her together, and sometimes I see Jennifer looking at the smoke detectors in my house, at the Wi-Fi router, at anything that could hide a camera. Mom, she asked me last week, how do you trust again? How do you feel safe? I thought about that for a long time. You trust carefully, you verify, you pay attention, and you remember that being cautious isn't the same as being afraid. I still use that app on my phone, the one that detects hidden cameras. I've shown Jennifer how to use it. We've taught her friends, her coworkers, anyone who'll listen. Because Ryan wasn't unique. The investigation revealed he was part of online communities dedicated to this, sharing tips on camera placement and how to avoid detection. There are thousands of men like him, maybe tens of thousands. But there are also millions of women like me, women who won't be victims, women who trust their instincts, women who fight back. I'm 62 years old. I've buried my husband, survived my daughter's betrayal by someone we both loved, and brought a predator to justice. And every night, when I check on Emma sleeping in her crib, when I see Jennifer finally smiling again, when I go to sleep in my own home knowing we're safe, I'm grateful. Grateful that I knocked over that candle. Grateful that I didn't ignore what I saw. Grateful that I was smart enough, stubborn enough, and brave enough to protect my family. That's my story. I hope if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, you'll remember it. Trust your gut. Investigate your doubts. Protect the people you love, because the alternative is unthinkable. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. And please, check your Airbnbs, your hotels, even your own homes. Those cameras are out there, but so are we.